Ah! Cocaína! Cocaína!
So what's Joe Rogan's thing?
On?
What you sent me on the drugs.
Okay, what's your opinion on that?
No, 100%.
You agree with what he's saying?
100%.
You see, I was always inclined to what he says because everything he says, I'm like, I understand what he's saying in terms of energies and whole other worlds and different.
Oh, I didn't get that part.
Oh, what were you listening to?
Just the drug part.
Oh. Okay.
What did he say?
No, he was just talking about like just general like what psychedelics do. You can see there's different levels to understanding of what the universe is, where you are. Just like the general like hippie stuff, right?
Yeah, was he agreeing with that?
He was saying, yeah, like to an extent. To an extent, he, not like 100% all the way, but he understands there are things there that make you think differently once you've experienced them.
Yeah.
So you have
that's true.
psychedelics, right? You have a certain experience you have, and you see the world differently than you did before because it's not as materialistic.
Yeah.
So I was at JITS and I was listening to people speaking and stuff, and they were speaking. These two guys speaking about the podcast, and this one guy said, "Yo, I see after 30 years of drugs, that's what do to you. Like you get cooked in the head, and you."
Joe Rogan's cooked.
Yeah, so the guy said basically Joe Rogan's cooked. I mean, he's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah.
In respect, but it's just like I don't like.
Was this today?
It was Tuesday. I rolled, and then the guy was speaking about this, and I was trying to understand where this guy's coming from, and I understand where he's coming from, but it's so difficult to just dismiss a complete idea if you've never experienced
That's
that
what
before.
I'm saying. Like people
It's
have
different.
opinions on things, not just in this, but in general, about things they have no experience in, and you only realize once you get older and you go through experiences, this scenario, because you had fallacies or ideas about certain things
Yes.
before you experienced it, and you thought you knew, as did I. I thought I knew about certain things, but now as I get older and I experience more things, and I experience those things I had notions about, and I realized that I knew nothing.
You had no
like,
clue about that.
yeah, like you had no clue about what you thought you knew just by observing.
Exactly.
So without experiencing these things, people should not have they can have an opinion, but they can't. They shouldn't discount
the
the,
experience.
the views of people that have had the experiences.
Exactly.
I realize that now.
I had a conversation with one of my mates recently, and he was discussing depression, and he was basically saying that some people tend to be okay, like when they're out and about and with people that they're happy, they're all comfy in the situation, they're bubbly, they speak to everyone.
Yeah.
But then when they're at home, they're sort of depressed and to themselves, and they keep their thoughts in themselves, like
That's
they're
possible.
complete opposites. And I mean, I've experienced it to a certain extent, and I don't want to say anything to him because obviously, I mean, he has his opinion. I don't want to and also out. I don't want to be that downer.
Yeah.
But to say something like that and not have an idea of what it's like to be depressed, and that moment maybe you were happy for, like months, you were happy, you finally felt
Doesn't
that.
mean you're being fake. Was he saying you're being fake?
That's what he got off. But you can't blame him because that's what he sees. Because
Yeah.
he doesn't know what it's like to be severely depressed, where you don't feel like doing anything, and the motivation even to like do something.
Doesn't when you're depressed doesn't mean you don't have happy moments.
Your happy moments are
Are short.
are short, but you make the most of it when you're in that happy moment because you know it's not going to last forever.
No, I don't know.
Really?
I think when you're depressed and those happy moments come, you ruin them. You ruin them as you realize you're happy in that moment. Depressed people normally revert back to being depressed once they realize they're happy, because that's not normal for them. And they're scared. When you're depressed and you get happy, you know it's so momentarily, so short, the time period of your happiness, that you want to revert back to where your comfort zone is, which is being depressed, because there's nothing to lose. When you're getting happy, when you're happy, it's just personal experience. When you're happy, you are happy. You're in the moment, but then you click and you realize, oh shit, I'm happy. Not oh shit, but like you're scared of losing it. You're scared of losing the happiness. You try to hold on it. You try to hold on to it
Too much.
as tightly as possible, that you lose it as soon as you realize that you're happy. Because then you're no longer in the moment.
But by seizing that moment, don't you excite yourself more the fact, oh, I'm finally happy, I'm enjoying this moment?
Not personally. I don't know if that. For me, it was. It was like a. very foreign thing, and you think it's too good to be true. So you immediately revert back to a comfortable being sad because you have nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Like, some people think things are too good to be true, and as soon as they think that, they kind of self-sabotage.
Is it because being happy is foreign to them?
Yeah, and it's like you kind of think you don't deserve it. So when you realize you have it, you like,
I haven't really done anything to deserve this moment or this emotion I'm going through. right now.
yeah, it's like you. I think it's mainly self-doubt and like you don't think you're enough. So then when that moment does come, you think it's too good to be true, and then you self-sabotage, whether mentally or physically, you self-sabotage yourselves that it's shorter than it could have been if you were just living in the moment.
But see, how do you get out of that bubble where the things you're discussing now, or what I was saying, where
That's
you
what-
try and grab the moment as much as you can and you get happy, and then you know that once you're done, it's gone. And
What Adam Watts says is you have to let go. The moment you try to grab on, people trying to be successful, especially in like sports or singing or something, they try so hard and they want it so much. A lot of times is all they have to do is let go,
then
and they'll get what they want.
Fine.
Just because they reach a point where they're not like, if you're in love with your goal or something like that, or a lot of parents are with their children, they love them so much that they're holding on so tight and they're squeezing so tightly that person wants to get out of it because
it's
they feel claustrophobic because you're holding on too tight. The moment the parent or the guy's like, or the girl's like, lets their partner be, or their son or whatever, live their own life, that thing just,
molds into something more powerful and stronger. Or
yeah, they don't feel the need to run away. Just like, if you're trying to win something or you're trying to achieve a goal and you're holding on so tightly to that idea of it, a lot of times you squeeze too tight that it doesn't work out. And you want it so badly that it doesn't work out. And the moment you let go and you're at ease with whatever happens, a lot of times that's a moment that sort of personality gets what he wants.
Well, that's really interesting.
Like
I think
what says, the
there's
moment you
so-
let go,
is the moment you realize, well, things develop.
things happen when you let go. That's his.
There were so many light bulbs when you were speaking, they were just like lighting up.
That's 100%.
Because I've had so many experiences in my life where I just push hard to get them in. Eventually, once I was like, okay, I understand what I want, it'll happen, and things just
Yeah,
came into place.
you
Like,
don't
For example, it's a very small,
suffocate your goal.
a very small example, minimal example. This morning, I was stressing about today because like usually I graph like from morning till evening, like at work, and I was like, okay, Severa's coming today. I want to go to gym. I have to have a meeting with George. I have to go see Beast game, and I come and do the podcast after if I see you. I was like, actually, how am I gonna plan my day? What am I doing?
Then you're not doing any work.
Yeah, exactly.
You
So
can't.
then eventually I was just like, whatever. I was like, sweet. So I carried on doing work. Severa mentioned like he's sick. I'm gonna be around 1 o'clock or so. And I was like, that's perfect. I can have time to chow, go pick her up, go to gym, and then go to George. Sweet. Carry on. I was taking a nice cruise around, playing a bit of Pokemon Go, chilling. I went to pick her up, and on the way back, I was like, I could go to gym, but then I'm gonna be rushed for an hour. I was like, I'm not gonna enjoy my session. Let me take a rest day today. Went to George, had a chilled meeting. Made it to Beast game.
You're Severa to George.
Yeah, she was chilling in the lounge, and I was in the meeting with him. And then I made it to Beast game just in time. Like I thought I was gonna be late because like if I'm late, I'm late. He's like, no, we just kicked off. I was like, that's perfect. Afterwards, we went to dinner at that place. Some of the best food I've ever had. We were friends in Nixon.
What did you eat?
We had the Mediterranean platter, so it was hummus, brinjal, with like it was grilled in garlic and lemon. Dude, it was so good with tahini and then pita. And I ordered the tacos. So 3 taco shells with beans, lettuce, guacamole, and tomato salsa bread. It was so good. The way they prepared it, it was so nice.
So what's your point?
My point is that I stressed so much about the day, but it ended up being right here. Everything I wanted to do, I did besides gym. I was stressed through the entire time, and I managed to do 95% of what I wanted to do today.
You need to just let things go.
But I was holding on, and like nothing made sense when I was holding on. I was like, okay, sweet. Everything just manifested. It worked out correctly as it was meant to happen.
That's the so many successful people. They've been pushing for years trying their hardest to succeed in something, trying, and then they're suddenly like tired after 8 years. So like, okay, I'm tired of
Pushing
like,
and trying.
like instead of expecting it, you like just like you carry on doing what
Doesn't
you're
you
doing,
give up,
but you
though?
have that not giving up. You carry on. This doesn't mean
But if
giving
you
up.
push for 8 years, surely you give up. You're like, oh, is it really going to happen?
You give up in terms of like grabbing too tightly. Doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing.
Okay.
You just don't suffocate the thing you're trying to achieve or the person that you're trying to love.
Oh, so you're talking about an example of someone who became successful.
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking you're talking about someone who didn't become successful because they held on for too long. Okay, carry on with what you're saying.
No.
I
I'm
understand
talking
where
about
you're going now.
I'm saying at the point of being successful.
Yeah.
It's normally the beginning part. I mean, like a lot of the times, it's the beginning part where you're trying so hard and you hold and you like squeezing, especially like even in a relationship. Like you'll see your girlfriend with like a guy talking and you get so jealous and then you like questioning her and stuff, and meanwhile nothing's actually happening, but it's happening in your head.
And you making it.
And you
manifest
just because
it.
you like trying to hold on to this girl so tightly, she feels claustrophobic herself because nothing's actually happening, but then you end up ruining it yourself just by squeezing too tight.
Exactly.
Just like a lot of parents do with their kids and don't let them out ever, and like they just feel suffocated, so they end up being rebellious.
So that principle you're saying now, let's say we're going to careers now
Yeah.
and following your dream, does that not link to that whole what the secret was, the law of attractiveness?
Yes.
So
The secret.
instead of holding it, yeah, I know the secret is a bit of like it's a bit of a
No, but the
cult.
idea of it.
The idea, so the law of attraction, that's what it
Yes.
is. So that principle deals with what you're saying in terms of
100%.
instead of holding, you let it go to you. Goes, okay, this is what I want. I'm gonna work at it, but I'm not gonna hold on too tightly. And eventually, these things come to you.
Do you know what the thing is? When you're holding on something so tight and you're trying to achieve something and you want it so bad, the idea in your head of want is so strong, which is telling the universe you don't have it. When you want something, you don't have it. So the universe says, by wanting and by emitting the emotion of want, like to women and whatever relationship was, they seem desperate. Just in put in plain layman word, they're desperate and you won't want that. But like in Korea, whatever, in the universe, with the law of attraction, when you are wanting, the universe realizes that you don't have this, or whatever, the energies. You don't want this. I mean, you don't.
I'm not sure which recording.
Okay.
So Karen, yeah.
Oh, wait,
let's just-
let me see this one.
You've only got 49 minutes in my memory left. It says 13 minutes 39 out of 49 minutes. Yeah, I think I probably have limited space to start transferring stuff.
Okay, anyway, so when you are wanting something, the idea of the secret and the law of attraction is you are in want, universe is realizing you in want, you don't have it. So you don't have it. Like just you won't have it.
Okay.
But when you reach a point of like not wanting so much, like you like at the point of like letting go, whatever happens, happens. You're not emitting the energy of lack of.
That's
the-
desperation.
Yes. When you're emitting energy of lack of, which is want, it'll be hard to get anything you want because you are emitting such an energy of lack that it won't. Whatever, like I said, whatever you emit comes back to you. So when you reach the point of letting go and you're like at ease of whatever outcome happens, that's not so like you're not emitting the attraction of lack. You're emitting the attraction of abundance. When you think you like the point of letting go is similar to the energy you emit if you have abundance. If you feel like everything's like you're worthy of anything and you don't lack anything, that's when things start coming to you.
But how does that link into the say? So okay, we've covered that, all right? But do you believe in the Buddhist ideology of yin and yang, good and bad?
You know?
So as much as everything's coming your way and everything is going the way you want it to go and you're attracting whatever energy you want, do you personally look for when it's coming down to the dip, or
No,
the
because
dip
if
is
you do-
there?
Yeah.
Because I try and
Carry
prepare
on.
myself for the dip. I'm like, okay, shit's going well now, it's happy.
No.
But like, not prepared like once the dip comes, like it'll come. Like last week it was a sick week. This week I had a few lows, but I was like, okay, I expect it because last week was so sick. And now I started picking up again. So I'm trying to prepare myself so I don't like get so surprised when it happens.
I
But-
understand, but I think that's also argue that it's a protective measure
Yeah.
you take for yourself. But at the same time, by doing that, you are putting out the energy or whatever you
I
put.
feel about that, but wouldn't it also be easier for you to pick yourself up from the low point if you know that this is the low point of this graph? Because I see life mostly as like a sine graph, so it's basically like this all the time, so ups and downs, ups and downs. So when it's down, you're like, okay, this is the down part. Like I'm gonna move to back to the top.
If it works for you, I think go for it, because that's true. Because like when you are going through a down, it's good to know that this
It's
is the
coming,
down
Yeah.
and that the up's coming. And when you are down, it's very likely that things will get better,
Yeah.
more than not. So I mean, it's a good way. If it works for you when you are down, then go for it. I can't.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get you right because I respect your opinion a lot.
But
Because
I do understand. I also do get that. I think when you are going through a down, it's good to view that the up is coming. This is the down. But when you're on a up, don't prepare for the down.
but how don't you if you know that when you're on the down you
Don't
need to
know.
come up?
When you're on the down, that's when you put your energy into thinking this is the down and the up's coming.
So you try
That's
and
more than
null your
likely.
mind, try and teach your mind to forget about the fact that it could go bad when it
Yeah,
happens.
don't think about it could go bad.
But how can't you if you already know there's when it's
You
down?
don't know. You just force yourself.
But okay, look, based on my 23 years of existence, I've built a model of how things work, and it's generally been like that. So like, how? Okay, look, obviously a very difficult question to answer, I suppose. I'm just trying to understand how I can just ignore it when I'm happy, when I'm on the high, and then like, as soon as it comes to the down, I just look forward to the up.
I think you can make downs highs if you're in that mode. That's my
Nice.
point of view.
Okay.
My point of view is when you're on a
Okay.
high and you're expecting a low, something will happen that's not necessarily that low, but you make it low by thinking it's low.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if your perspective is still on a higher level, that everything is good, because you can find good in any day. 99 out of 100 times. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah. But you can't have one complete shit day though. It's very difficult. You
Yeah.
can have some highlights.
That's what I'm saying. But you
Yeah.
can have a shit day if you want it to be a shit day. If you are in the mind that the day is shit, the
Yeah.
day will be shit. But if you're in the mind that the day is good and something bad happens, it can be 5 minutes, it can be an hour.
Yeah.
But the rest of the day can be good.
You make the best of it.
So I think that's why, by saying this is about, don't prepare for the lows, the little lows. I don't know.
Because I really think like if you put your mind to anything, you can honestly achieve it. Like no matter what it is, how small, big, you may think, okay, I can make a $1 billion company, for example, or you can like something simple where it's introverts within yourself, where I know the bad thoughts when I'm happy, but when I'm sad, I think of the happy thoughts. I think if you put your mind to it, you can really
Yes, that's what I'm
achieve
saying.
that. So I just think
So
work
like
like that.
it's basically changing your perspective during the highs and the lows. That find things you're grateful for.
Yeah. In the
I
moment.
think that's when you'll be happiest, when your
Yeah.
perspective is on a higher, brighter level.
Do you ever feel like your mind cultivates things that might not be in existence?
Example?
You overthink something, and
It happens to everyone all the time.
but the idea is so dumb. Like when I look back and think about it, I overthought something that had very little probability of happening, but I overthought it.
Do that. It's a protection mechanism.
Like-
Thinking worst case scenarios to not be surprised or blinded.
But it's become so bad that I almost expect them to happen.
That's bad.
If I can use it to the point where I'm like, okay, look, that's the worst case scenario. I'm going to go through. If it happens, I can sort myself out. Like I understand it's a survival technique in the wild. Our ancestors needed to use it when they were hunting or growing up, right? Like we're living quite easy times, like compared to everyone else in history. So we didn't have to use our survival skills as much. I think they've adapted to the fact that we overthink mundane things.
Correct. Because we don't have to worry about being hunted by a lion. So
Or-
now we do it through
Or dying of the
relationships.
flu.
Sure. So
Or
now
like
now it's basically based on
mediocre things.
yeah.
Mundane things that don't actually matter in the bigger scheme of things because you have nothing else to worry about.
Yeah. So I don't think a homeless person is worried about whether if his friend likes him or not at this moment. Like it's
It's
just
worrying about his next
that's
meal.
the thing. Like you find as your life gets better and more comfortable, you find different, completely different and seemingly valueless things to worry about to somebody who's in a wheelchair and like, who has real bad things to worry about. So as you're more privileged, the more you worry about things that's superficial or that don't really matter at
Caleb,
the end of the day.
do you think it's like the people who have worse, obviously people who are handicapped, people who have diseases, people who are poor, like, do you think they fall in this bracket here? And then there's a big pool of people over here in the middle who think about mundane things like, do my friends still like me? Did I give a good impression to that person? Like, no, stupid things. And then there's people above who are wealthy and understand life and then worry about things that, from my perspective, are like out there.
Yeah.
Do you see it like that?
To an extent it is. But obviously we're all pretty much the same.
Yes.
So we all worry about similar things, but as I'm saying, to an extent that is true.
Because I'm trying to work on like not worrying about stupid things I used to worry about before. Like, dude, when I was on campus and stuff, like I used to worry about things that right now I'm like, what, are you serious? Like, do you really waste your time thinking about that? Like, I'm trying to push away things that are mundane in my head by doing what I want to do when I want to. And I think that's a good model right now. It might change in a month, in a week, in a day, for me to get to that place where the people who think when they need to think and act when they need to act, rather than doing something and thinking about something else.
Yeah, that's what studying your mind is in Buddhist. So that's why people do meditation. That's why they try to still your mind and use your mind to your advantage, not your disadvantage. That's why the Power of Now, that book, teaches you that. Your mind can be the best tool in the world and your secret weapon, but it can also be the opposite.
Detrimental.
It can literally destroy you just by thinking the wrong things and thinking too much about things that, but about not being in the present. So that book basically explains what you said. It can, your mind can be your greatest weapon or your worst enemy.
What was its advice on how to
still your mind
eradicate?
and understand your thoughts and be aware of when you're thinking stuff that's detrimental. Stop yourself, and when you need to use your mind to something productive and going with what you're doing, then it's your weapon.
But how do you know though? How do you know what is detrimental and what's not?
Oh, you know. If you're telling yourself you're an idiot in your head and you'll never achieve something, you switch that off. If you
Okay,
think
but
your
that's-
girlfriend's cheating on you
Yeah.
and there's no proof to that extent and you're driving yourself crazy, you switch it off, you stop yourself. So you'll know. When you're thinking a thought, you'll know. So you need to understand basically when your mind's elsewhere. So if you're sitting in a forest and you with your girlfriend or with your son or with your friend or whatever,
Someone else.
and you are not in that moment, you're thinking about something else that's like you're worried about whether your tire is being stolen or your car is being dented or something that you can't control at the moment. You're just detrimenting, you're just ruining the experience that you could have had in that moment. So you'll know. So then what the book says, stop yourself, be present, blah, blah, blah. And when you need your mind and you're working on something in your career or something that's, it can be it's your best weapon at the same time.
I just feel like we should be taught things like this, like at a young age, because developing it now at 23, it's so difficult because I've built all these bad habits of thinking this, thinking that, like worrying about things that aren't going to affect my life. Like I'll be learning about something that I'm not interested in, but I'll have to because that's the way life goes, that's the way society's pushing you. If you could learn right now, like I think the ideal, like what Rain was speaking about, the ideal way to teach kids is like a more creative way and then develop it in a way that they enjoy. Because in that way, their train of thought will be such that they'll focus on things the way they see the world, and in doing that, they'll focus on the moment. Because they won't be doing it the same, like, I could do it a different way, I know I can come to the same answer.
And then people get despondent when they're told to do things that they're not actually using their own ideas or creativity.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of people are depressed. It's a reason. It's because we're not unique at all. We are part of a program.
It's so true though. Because dude, you think about school, we all learn the same subjects, the same. Dude, like honestly, if we could choose our subject at a younger age, it would be a bit difficult for people to decide what they want to do then, but they'll know themselves better than they would when they're in high school. Because once you go to high school, you've all learned the same thing. Now you must spread out. You haven't had time to work on yourself this entire time.
Imagine as a kid, they're like, okay, what do you like to do?
Yeah, but you obviously like you get psychologists and you get teachers who study how the brain works. You see this person likes creative things, they like to design things. Okay, let's do more like a technical
But then I
drawing.
don't understand
or-
why they have to do that, and at the same time have to do Afrikaans or have to do maths.
Okay, yes, it's thing like
If you're gonna
those
be
are
an
languages
artist,
though. Those
yeah,
are
but if you-
languages.
okay, languages. But if you're gonna be an artist, why do you need to know maths?
Maths is very important. Maths is a language. It's
No,
a way to communicate your ideas.
Okay, true. But then why do you have to do biology?
That's a good question. You're not interested in biology, but you have to learn for like 4 or 5 years.
So like you're spending that time you would be wanting to use on art. You're not gonna use anyone like, you know what I mean?
I understand. I agree with
So
100%
it's
with what
just-
you say.
I don't know where that.
It's the
line is.
education program. If the education program was personalized to what you, as a person, have grown up to, or what you would like, people would be much happier leaving university. They know exactly what they want to study. Leaving school and go to university. Because now we brought up the same channel. Everyone does the same things in grade 10 in our system. Grade 10, you all choose your own individual subjects. Now what? We've all learned the same thing. Okay, I've got an interest in computers. I'm going to do IT. I've got an interest in how the world works. I'm going to do geography. Okay, sick. I've chosen those two. Oh, I have to choose between science, accounting, and business studies. Which one do I hate the least? Literally, that's what the psychologists happen. Because that's all the subjects I wanted to do. Show you can't put them together because they're not in the same columns. I was like, what the hell? She's like, that's how it works.
No, bitch.
But who are you to tell me exactly? Because they set a timetable a certain way. That's why you can only choose in those groups
Yeah.
because those blocks. It's just because you understand.
And then that part of your brain is not going to be used again ever, and you're definitely not going to do that career just because the timetable didn't work out for the school.
But do you understand that your timetable has messed up your entire future because they
could have potentially.
could
Or-
have
Yeah.
could have could have.
Yeah.
I'll give you could have because they couldn't accommodate and hire another teacher to teach in that hour or something. Like it's so
It's just too
illogical.
It's too
strict.
no. That's too one-dimensional. So it's just it's like telling all animals to swim. And
That's
it's
true.
seeing who's the smartest.
They swim.
The smartest, in other words. So a fish swims.
Yeah.
And
So
a
now-
lion drowns.
Elephant is dumb.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
It's rather unfortunate.
It's rather unfortunate, I would say. Yeah. What can you do though? Just gotta go with it.